Hey, welcome back to the check in with Coach Nikki. I'm so glad that you stopped in to be a part of an amazing conversation. We're here, y'all. It's 5 weeks in, and it is still just as amazing as it was the first time. The check in was created in a space where I lost, right? And so, those who have no idea what the check in is, it's a space that I needed when I didn't know I needed something else. When you lose people, it immediately is like, oh, let me come and see. People want to check in, people show up, and you, as a person who's grieving, immediately says, okay, all right. And then those people take 3 hours to show up at the house, where I was 3 hours ago, I am no longer there. And so it was okay to say no, but I didn't know that. It was okay to pause, and I didn't know that. And so our emotions daily become super, super fluid. And so the check in then became the thing that I needed that kept me mentally sane. And so I realized that when I do it and then I share, then somebody else may need it. And so I've been doing the check in now after losing my mom 3 years ago. And it has sometimes in days saved myself, but also saved me from cussing somebody else out because I just knew what I needed. So last week we talked about um, recognizing and combating ourselves against burnout. We talked and gave some skills and some things about that. I hope it helped. And so today, as y'all see, we got a guest already, so y'all just pay attention, mind your business. We're gonna get to that in a second. But the biggest part I want us to do is remember what we talked about last week, the tools and skills to get you past the burnout, so that you first have to recognize it before you can combat against it. But this week's topic, I'm gonna just tell you immediately when we change, because we changed the name together. I love this because my guests, we talk, and we changed the name together. And then I got a little emotional, and I said, "Lord, help! Hopefully, I can make it through her testimony. It ain't even my testimony; it's hers, to get us to next." But the topic for today is healing after heartache, a mother story, and so I hope that you are ready to embark this journey with me and a long time friend. I will say, because I use friend, I don't take it lightly when people choose you to show up to tell their story. I knew her as Nikki walking in open high school, and she was one of the flyest, like the flyest girls at the school. But she was welcoming to me, and so I'm grateful. So I want to say hello to Nakea. Thank you so much for being here.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me so much. I appreciate it. Absolutely.
No, it is. When I'm not old. I feel like you young too. We young together
Exactly. Exactly.
because we got this. Tell our viewers a little bit about yourself now.
Okay. Well, I am seasoned. I'm not old.
Come on, season. Of course,
Exactly.
I'm a chef. I just thought I'd share that. Go ahead. All right.
I am currently I'm a registered nurse. I've been working as a nurse for 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
I started out in the military. I was in Navy, and
Yes.
yeah, I built arms bombs and missiles, and then I went on to design
Okay,
aircraft
great.
carriers.
Okay.
Come on now.
Come on, bounce and missiles.
Exactly. And then, I settled down with family and then I went into nursing school. Right now, I still have my baby's going to college. He's 19, so I'm local. I'm working in mental health with a focus on substance abuse, trauma
Yes.
informed care. I take
And
care of
that's been in the
criminally
past
insane
six
people.
years, right?
Yeah,
Like,
in the past.
yeah.
Yeah, most recently. I started out in med surge, but
Okay.
mental health industry has really, really grown, and there's a strong need for caring people to be in that field. So that's where I am right now.
Okay.
And I'm working on my foundation. I have OnGo Foundation is a brand new. It's my baby. I
Say,
have
what's the name of it again?
OnGo,
Spell it for me.
ONGO.
Okay. Okay.
It is my baby, and it is the fruit of these last years' experience.
Mm. So
We
does OnGo stand for something? Is it representation of something?
Yes, yes.
Okay. I felt like you didn't just wake up and have that.
No, my sons who were huge in music, their
Mm.
stage presence, they have an ongo movement. So
Okay.
Taj is ongo Taj, and he's considered Big Go, and his brother is Band, and he's Little Go. So
Okay.
I have made this foundation in honor of them in their name.
I love that. So we talking about being a mom. Are you also a wife?
I used to be a wife.
You used to be a wife. Because I
Yeah.
looked at this last name you put on here and the last name I had, they were not the same.
No, 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 no.
Okay, okay. So a mom of how many?
Four.
Four.
Yeah.
You want to give ages and names?
Sure. My youngest is Solomon. He's 19. Next
Wow.
after him is Sanaa. She's 22.
She's
And
your twin. She took your whole face.
you think
Took
so?
your whole face.
Oh my
Yes.
gosh. I'm so
Yes.
proud of
Yes.
her. She's
Yes.
beautiful. She's growing the time flies by.
Time flies by.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have 20, 19, 20.
And the twins will be 25 this year.
Okay. So we're going to do our check-in. So like I said, as I did the intro, the check-in, kind of like even how this podcast started, was because I didn't know that I needed to stop and check in on me. Right. And so when you lose kind of what we're going to be talking about in that healing process and today, um, I don't think as people we realize that we're supposed to actually check in on ourselves. We kind of wait for other people to kind of come in and say and check. Or I'm a mama for as well, holding those kids accountable to check. I currently have a partner waiting for her to check. And the other part is I never knew how to check because no one told me that that was okay.
Yeah.
And so when I lost my mom, my girlfriend, she was coming to the house, and this is a real life. She was coming to the house. She called. I was like, okay, yeah, come on over. And it literally took her 2 hours to show up, which is fine, right?
Mhm.
But when she showed up in the 2 hours in grief, you may not want that company. And
That's
I
right.
didn't want company,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so she showed up, and I was present the best I could. And then I realized I got to figure out something because in the midst of 2 hours, my whole emotion had changed. And so the check-in then became a thing. And so the check-in is from 1 to 5, right? So 1 being I'm present, but that's all I have to offer. And 5 is like this is the most amazing moment, but it's about the moments, right? So in this moment, like right now, like nothing about the hours leading up to us preparing for this or what you think you have to do this evening, but in this moment, check in with me. So from 1 to 5, if you had to pick a number, where would you be?
5.
5. I love that. I'm at a 5 as well.
Great.
I am super excited about, which may sound crazy to some, but I'm super excited about the conversation we're about to have.
Mm-hmm.
One, to be able to see you in a different space. Because I don't know if you know, you're older than me. That doesn't mean anything. But there was this reverence of who you were, right?
Yeah.
Like, and some people don't know that. Like there was this reverence of like she got it together, right? Like I see her, and this is young me because I came in to Open High. We're graduates of Open High School, and so I came in Open High my 10th grade year, but I didn't have ninth grade friends, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so trying to figure out where I fit. You and Aisha kind of embraced me in this space, and I will never forget it. Aisha then also cracked on me most of the time, but it also was a space that was necessary for me to even be bold enough to be in this space.
That's so dope.
Um, so yeah, thank you. I'm super excited because you could have chose any space
Oh,
to share or talk about your story, and you reached out, and I'm grateful that we can be here.
thank you, Nikki. I really
Yeah,
appreciate your words. Thank you.
absolutely, absolutely. So we're going to talk about your story.
Yeah,
Um, so you say you've been in mental health for the past 6 years. What
right.
led to that being as strong as it is in your space moving? Before we
Well,
get to all that,
yeah. Well, they say that you got a plan and God has a plan.
that's the truth.
Yeah, I was not leaning towards the mental health field, but
Mm-hmm.
as a nurse, I had kind of reached the pinnacle of doing all these different jobs and everything, and I branched out into administration. So I became the director of nursing of a large mental health hospital in this area, and so that's where I started. Right before the pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
And I just wanted to get away
When
from
everybody
bedside
lost their
nursing.
mind.
Yes, absolutely,
When everybody
absolutely,
lost their mind.
yeah,
Yeah. So when we're talking, so the goal of today, kind of like what what the title is a mother story. As we talked about, you have 4 children, but there's a heaviness of a story of one.
Yeah.
Um, do
Yeah.
you want to start there?
Sure. And it's two. I don't think you knew that.
No, okay.
Yeah.
This is me. This is real life, y'all. This is
Yeah.
how we talk. Okay, wow.
My sons, they were, I can't, only moms know, like I love my babies, but I
Yeah.
always wanted to be a boy mom.
Mm-hmm.
And when I had twins and they, like, oh my God, like, I felt like we grew up together because I
Mm-hmm.
had them when I was 20, and,
Okay.
they were just everything, we, I was raising them out in a short pump and everything. And, I was married to their father at the time, and typical, what I thought middle class,
Middle, I
two
was going to
parent home.
say the idea
Yeah.
that we grew up with, that we are living in the space,
That's what we
right?
thought.
Like
That's what I thought.
that's what we thought. Yeah. And it has
Yeah.
to be the best way. Like this is the best life we could offer. Yeah.
Right. A two-parent home, black man, black father in the
Mm-hmm.
family.
Mm-hmm.
On
In a
top of
pretty
that,
decent neighborhood, right? Because
right.
short pump, you're living out there somewhere. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Not to mention we were in the Nation of Islam. So I,
Mm.
I thought that we were, like we got it covered,
Yeah. Yeah.
and
We have the boundaries. We have the spiritual aspect. Financially, we're in a space, right?
yeah,
And then we have the look.
right, exactly.
Yeah.
So um, I thought that my kids, they were in AAU, they played basketball, they went to the best schools.
Yeah.
Um, subsequently, he and I divorced, and I moved out into the county in Chester, and they switched schools, and that's when I started to see a change. But I just really didn't think that. I thought it was regular. The things that I was honing in on, because you know, to my knowledge, was girls. All I know, all the girls want you. I know how hard it is. You can have a girlfriend, but these condoms,
These,
we talk,
these,
right,
baby, I had condoms on my
right.
table with my. Yes, I'm
Yes,
here. I'm here. Yes.
yeah. We don't talk to girls a certain way. We never hit girls. Like if a girl invites you to her house and you feel sketchy, don't do it. And listen, no shade, but I was like, and maybe we're not going to the white girl's house. We're not going to do that, okay? Like
Don't go to
let's.
their house. You're an athlete. They gonna know. I'm here.
Yes,
Yes, I'm here. Yes.
yes. Yeah. These were the things I was concerned with, and just regular boy things, and
Yeah.
so
Or what we thought were the boy
so what?
things.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
and yeah, and we had our back and forths, like regular things, you mean grades slipping or but nothing alarming, nothing at all. Like everybody knew them, the twins, and they were the jocks. They were invited to everything, every social event. They were on target with everything.
Yeah.
When they graduated school, one of my twins was to go to the Navy, and the other wanted to just go to school.
So Najee was going to where?
Najee wanted to go to the Navy, and Taj
Okay.
just wanted to go to 4-year college, but he didn't want to do it
Okay.
in Richmond.
They were gonna
So,
separate.
right, for the first time
Oh.
ever.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Um, but it didn't work out that way. When they graduated, uh, I had, was just, had divorced, and I was getting into a serious relationship. I married a woman, and it was a lot of change for us, but
Yeah.
things still look good for us.
Yeah.
Um, so Najee didn't go to the Navy. He didn't get into the Navy like he planned, and Taj decided he didn't want to go to school. So,
Because we forget, even when planning, that plans change.
right,
Even when
correct,
planning. Yeah. Yeah.
they changed,
Yeah.
and so that was a lot. But I, for me at the time, I was
Right.
like, okay, well, they're kids. Everybody don't want to do the same thing. I went to the Navy. Maybe he doesn't. Like we can. let's run it
You
back,
can
you
figure out
know.
something else. Yeah. Hmm.
Right. So that summer was just a difficult summer for us because I was trying to recognize that they were burnt out and, they wanted to do some other things. And they were very creative. So that's when they started to really get into music. And
Okay.
my house turned into a recording studio.
Oh, I mean, your story is okay. So I'm tripping out as I'm sitting here because it sounds super similar.
Yeah.
So my two older children are also there's a studio in one of my sons. He's in Missouri at school, but it's a whole his room is this big.
Uh-huh.
And it's for whatever reason the best studio in the whole wide world.
I'm sure.
It's the best studio in the whole wide world. I can only imagine the transition. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm coming home. I've always worked either two jobs or night shift, and I will come home and it's 20 kids in my house and they all recording and they all have his calendar. You cooked anything? It's like that.
Yes.
So
Yes.
many days of me walking, stepping over kids, kicking kids out, it just, you know,
Trying to find where am I going to sleep because I just got here. Where
right.
am I going to walk because I
What?
just got in here
Right. Is there any place for me?
for
Yeah.
me in
Right.
this here house.
Yeah. So,
So as they started to transition into music and music being passion for them, how
yeah.
did how did you take it? Although I feel like it may feel like it was a comfortable thing, how did it really feel in knowing like their dreams are so different from some of your expectations?
I was afraid. I was very afraid because, by that time the support from their father waned off all the way and completely. He was not in their
Because at
lives.
18, for whatever reason, the judicial system think
Yeah,
maybe they don't need nothing else.
correct.
Hmm. Hmm.
Correct. And so I couldn't and that situation wasn't the best,
Yeah.
at all. So I couldn't rely on a male presence to help direct them and steer them. And I just saw a different side of them and I just didn't understand at all. I
Mm.
thought that I thought everything but what was going on. Maybe I didn't do a great job. Why are we arguing? Why are you not listening to me? I'm
The
giving you
way we'll blame
space.
ourselves
Yes.
immediately for the change.
Yeah,
Yeah.
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 I didn't know. And things just got really just, my boys are 6'6".
Oh
And
Lord.
so yeah, they didn't want to work. Um it was just and they didn't want only wanted to just concentrate on music and we were having some struggles.
Yeah,
Um
because also no shade to those who listen to this and are doing great music here in Richmond, right? Like, but this isn't really the music capital of the world. Like,
no, it's not.
if you are not going to travel in this space, you know what I mean? Like, you have to be able to put yourself in the right seating spaces to even get your music past the street that you stay on,
Right.
right?
Exactly.
It's just a different type of work. If that's the road that you're gonna choose. No,
Right.
again, those who are listening, no shade to those who are doing music in your mama room and bathrooms and closets and you to put all the soundproof things. But I also need you to get that if this is the only place you're gonna do it, it is very hard for you to get past
Right here. Yeah, it is.
right here. And
What
so I can understand the fear of
what's
what
gonna
is next for
happen?
y'all. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Um, well, that brings me to my next point. At that time, my sons were 18. When my
Hmm.
son turned 19, he was like, "Listen, I've been making music for this whole time. I got a big following out in California. I'm gonna move. I'm gonna move to California." I was completely against him moving, but but he was set that that's what he was going to do.
That's what we wanted to do.
Um, yeah, he moved to California. He made a
So
name for
who moved,
himself.
Taj or Taj
Taj.
moved?
Taj moved to
Okay,
California.
okay.
Najee stayed here. Um, and he moved to California and started doing shows. He started making this OnGo movement. He started linking with a lot of people in the music industry.
Oh
Um,
wow,
he started to get his plays and get his music released on different platforms.
wow.
Um, yeah, I was super
Yeah.
proud of him, but also I started to see a major change
And
in
behavior.
him. Yeah.
Yeah.
He didn't
Yeah.
want me to come out there. It was just he got assaulted during COVID, and I went out there and he just didn't look like himself at all.
So if a mom was listening when you say some behaviors that are different, right?
Yes.
What are
Yes.
some things that may be warning, right? Or may be trick like, hey, this just not, you may want to call or you may want to get on a plane anyway. What
Yeah.
would be some things?
Well, my sons had a healthy reverence and respect of me. They would never talk to me in any kind of way that was other than respectable. And
Hmm.
for the first time in my life, my son was talking to me in a way that wasn't respectful at all.
Wow.
Um, he didn't. He was very. He was always artsy with his appearance, but he
Hmm.
wasn't as meticulous in his appearance as he used to be.
Okay.
Um, you know
So
that.
change in behaviors, change in appearance.
Yes,
Right.
yes,
Hmm.
yeah, absolutely. Um, and just the way that he was more secretive about the people that he wanted me to meet. When he was
Mm,
here, everybody would come over and it would be
right. The
okay.
house
But
full of 20. Right.
yeah, but
Right.
now you don't really want me to see the type of people that you're hanging around. Um, and when I did see them, I would, that was a really indication to me that no, these are not the type of people that we normally associate with or hang around, and
Yeah.
something is going on.
Okay. So I'm making it plain for parents who may not have the same things, right? So change behaviors, change in appearance, and then becoming secretive of relationships, friendships, right? And I'm using those words loosely because I think when our children get to a certain age, everybody they friend. I don't know, this generation, they like sip everybody gets brother and
Yeah.
sibling. They just take it way too far. But when they have created this closeness with people that you still have yet to meet, when you have a natural relationship with them, those are things, those are tools to be mindful of, that there may be something going on. I'm not telling you this is for everybody, but these are things, and I'm also coming from a mom's space, right? That would make you say, I may need to pay attention a little more.
Right.
So when you went out to see him in California, when you after his assault, like, what were your thoughts? Not on the way there, but once you got there, what was your process?
I was just so it was during it was in the heart of COVID. I was just so ecstatic that he was okay. I never
Yeah,
heard my baby. He called me, and because the doctor called me initially and told me that something was going on with him. And then when I finally got to talk to him, he just said, "Mommy, I'm scared." And that shook me to my core.
yeah,
And so to see him, um, released from the hospital, and to see that he was okay, I was so relieved. And that was actually a year, a year and the time frame of that, we'll go into, but that was a year before he passed away um, that I got that call out to California. So
So when you went to go, did he return back with you here, or did he say, no,
mhm.
I gotta stay?
He wouldn't. I had his brother. I took his brother with me. At the time, I
Hmm.
took my then wife with me,
Hmm.
and I was trying to get him to come back, and he would not come. He would not come, and
Because that's what in his mind, that was his success there,
correct.
right?
He was a
That was
big
his success.
man. He
Yeah.
was a man. Yeah.
And so how did you continue to build or create relationship with him in that space? Because this is now the son, like, as much as you love him and thought you knew him, right?
Right.
What did you do in that space for the next, as you say, the next year?
I started
And
begging him to come home every time. I started
every
begging him to
time.
come home. I started
Yeah.
begging him to come, and it was his brother that eventually convinced him to come home,
Okay.
and he got here. Taj got here later that year, about December.
Okay.
And when he got here, that's when I really knew and understood what I was facing,
Facing.
what he was dealing with. Yeah.
And so, um, to the listeners and to the people who are watching, one of the topics that we also wanted to talk about today was addiction. And so you get him here. It is December. Um, Eventually you get him here, which we're grateful for, even in it being here. What were some things when you say like you really realized that it was deeper than just crazy friendships or just changed behaviors? What were some warning signs once you got him here, or things that you saw that were not like you knew for sure, like this is bigger than just you want to be a rapper. This is
Yeah.
bigger than just music industry. This is a change in who you
Yeah.
are.
Um, his inability to, my baby was not himself. He he was, I could tell that he was trying to hold himself in a way around me, but he couldn't.
He couldn't do it.
His he couldn't concentrate, more than a little bit at a time.
Mm,
um I was pressing him to, like, get a job and be consistent with things that was outside of his reach. He couldn't do it. He could
mm,
not, he couldn't function the way that I knew him to be. um he was bringing people over, and he knows how I think about things, and he was like, no, it's not, no, they're okay, this person is
that's
not
not
what you
that.
think.
It's
Right.
not like that.
Right.
Yeah,
But it's
because I
exactly.
think the other thing that you can also, I believe you can stand in as I'm listening, is that even the things that you instilled in him still remain. Right? Like
Mhm.
it may not feel that way when you think about it, but there was still a respect and an honor in some space. He may couldn't grab it all, but there was a space and honor of respect. Like, let me go ahead and fix her mind because I know how she think. I know, and I don't want to ever let her
Right.
see the worst of me,
Right.
even if that's what it was.
Yeah.
Um, so he gets here in December,
Yeah.
and I'm sorry.
I make a space for him, but by this time his twin brother, has an apartment. So he was spending most of his time with his brother.
Mm-hmm.
Um so I made it my duty to, like, just go and see him and,
See him,
see what's
yeah.
going on with them. And I'm talking to his brother, like, listen, this is really something, but looking back, and which is why I had no idea what to do, where to start, who to call,
Mm,
what question to ask. That and there were so many emotions going, and you know, d- you just don't know what to do. You don't know
yeah.
what to do, and you don't know where to start.
You don't know where to start because some of it becomes commercialized to the lifestyle, right? Like,
Mhm.
and I'm going to assume. So as I don't know if you remember my brother. He came to Open for 1 year. Maybe he really came for one semester because he would get on that bus to go downtown and he would never make it to no class.
Mhm.
Like Open was a space where you had to know. But he was also an addict. We just lost him this year.
I'm
He was
sorry.
murdered in August.
So sorry.
I mean last year. But there were some things that were about this music lifestyle that in their mind it had to look a certain way. Not that I'm taking away the choice, right? But there's something about connecting yourself to a people who are working in a space that equates to a look.
Yeah.
Um, and so once he started to hang out with his brother, what ended up happening?
Um. Yeah. I thought it was a concentrated issue, that it was just something that Taj was dealing with, but
Hmm.
him and his brother did everything together, and him and his brother were using, and I had no. Well, now I have an idea. Now I know,
Yeah, yeah.
and
But
I
then this is in 20. We're in what, 2021?
now we're in 2021. Yeah,
Okay.
And I would say that whatever they were doing before, where they were able to keep it from me or
Mhm.
manage their lives, no. But everything fell apart quickly. Um, I got a call. I was a newlywed, and I got a call about a knock on my door about 3 o'clock in the morning on May 21st, 2021, and 6 police officers were at my door, and they asked me if I was a mother of Taj Calendar, and then they told me that he was deceased. Um, I cannot describe to you how that feels to a mother, um, but my life was forever changed at that
Forever
time.
changed. Yeah. I want to go back a day, right? So 5/20, 2021. What was your day? Do you remember?
I, yeah, I remember. I was the director of nursing girl. I was at the I was a newlywed. I was living my best life. I think I
Hmm.
had just got the COVID vaccine. You know,
Right, right.
it was a Friday night, so we
Friday
had
night.
just had family night, pizza night, and I remember, when I describe, because it was so quiet and peaceful, and I remember sleeping on my cotton down bed and having the 300, 400 count Egyptian sheets on my bed and
Come on.
having every comfort to wake up to my son being in torment.
Yeah.
Um, yeah.
I I ask because sometimes we get caught in the torment and forget the day before. Um, as we are now progressing. So we're in 2021, May 21st. Um, immediately your emotion is what?
I just anger. I
Mm,
was enraged. I think I just started screaming.
mm-hmm.
I just started to scream, and I just started to, anything that I could find, I broke. Anything
Yeah.
that I could find that was able for me to break, I broke. And I gave my daughter permission to break anything she felt like breaking. And that actually was a theme of my life. I've been so angry, I
Anything that
broke
could broke
everything.
that broke everything.
Yes, I
I
did.
was as we were gonna, because we're gonna eventually get to some more, right? Some more things, right? Um, if you do not mind sharing, how did your son become unalive? Because I think you can't say certain words on spaces, which is fine.
Yeah. Um, they were at a party.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it, at 2:22 a.m., which now this number becomes a theme in my life. I never go a day without seeing 222. But at 2:22 a.m., there was a call to 911, and my son was downtown with his brother, and they were at their dealer's house, and who uh, was actually on North 20th Street, apartment 222 again. And
I was gonna say the same thing, but go ahead.
yeah, they
Mm-hmm.
my Najee watched his brother die. He bought a Percocet which was laced with fentanyl, and Najee watched his brother die. His heart gave out on him, and they
And God
called
took him.
EMS.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he was no more.
One, I'm sorry. Because I only knew about Najee. I didn't know about Taj. So first, my heart goes out. Also, as a mom who has a son who is choosing different paths of life. Do I know all of the things? No, but the signs that I'm part of the reason I'm calling out the signs as I'm calling them is that when I have seen signs, I become even more eerie. of the possibilities. And
Right.
so I'm guessing that if a mom is listening to this who has a son or a daughter or a non-binary or a whatever, child who is making some decisions, if you feel it in your gut and if you see things that are different, it may require the extra. But the hard part, I think, even which I think you're probably describing, is that's also their choice, right?
And
Um, but there is an epidemic here. There is a thing in this city, in this state, that kind of goes quiet. And I'm going to tell you my position, and then you can go on. But it becomes super quiet, right? Until the white house makers at home have the same issue,
that's right.
right? Pookie and them been dying from the same things. Boo Boo and them been dying from the same things for years. And then we have an epidemic when the housewives died from the same thing. And so then it's a problem. And the reality is that it's always been a problem. And it goes unaddressed until somebody that doesn't look like us passes away.
You got it.
And so for that, I'm sorry. Before we get into Najee, what makes you, or what has given you the power, right? Because I think it has to be some power for you to be on here with me today. And what has given you the power to talk now?
It's my time. I believe that we need to do a few episodes because we need to
Yeah,
come back with some.
I'm enjoying. It's about to be a series, but go ahead.
I believe. Let me just first say that no prophet or no person who has been called to do something likes that they've been called to do something,
Hate it,
because the
actually.
process of which they have to go through to be able to present that is life shattering, and it takes you to the brink of death yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So I've gone through enough that I feel that I need to reach back and be able to help pull some other families, some mothers through this. I've seen it
Mm,
all.
yeah.
Um, where I am today, I fought to be. Nothing was given to me, and it has not been easy. And I am only now head and shoulders above water to where I am grounded, I am leveled, that I can say that this happened for a reason, and let me just get behind the fight and try
Yeah.
to help.
I think like I said, I called you powerful earlier. Like, that is the most powerful thing, I think. So the testament, what was prophesied over my life is that you will endure scars so that others can heal, right?
Mhm.
And so this came out in a time where my daughter had been molested by a family
Mm,
member, right? And so the way I didn't want to receive it from the person who said it, first of all, I cussed her out and put her out of my house. That's not true. And I went to church the following Sunday just because I needed to be somewhere, right? Like being at home, kind of with you, like I would have probably broke everything. And so I just needed to be somewhere. And the pastor who I served under at the time literally called me to the front. He didn't know that lady, and said the same thing,
mm,
like exactly the same words. And for a very long time, I've realized that my battle has been very hard in spaces. And then when I go through those things, I'm helping somebody else on the other side of that. And while I'm helping, there's some healing that happens for me. It's small usually, but it happens. And so to hear you speak that as it is for your life, is a powerful statement all by itself.
thank you.
And so I'm excited actually to see what happens next,
Thank you.
because I know it's going to be great. Um,
Oh, let me,
so
excuse me for one second. I think
no,
I'm losing
no,
power here. I'm sorry.
oh no, I don't want you to lose power. It is definitely storming.
Okay, I'm okay.
You good? Okay, good. Because it started storming here. I was like, Lord, please don't let this Wi-Fi go out because
Right.
I want to finish this. Um, so because I actually want you to come back and talk about OnGo like as a whole thing and how people can really, really
Yes,
help. Um,
absolutely.
but I do want to give way and give space for you to talk about your other son, because he deserves space and understanding and the testament of that will also be able to help somebody else.
Thank you.
So imagine, I'm just sitting here imagining holding my brother as he transitions
Mm,
from us doing the things that we enjoy doing together, and why him and not me, or why not us at the same time, and
right.
having to live with that. So how, so more on what was Najee's story moving forward.
Najee and Taj, I know everybody can say that they are close, and then even twins are close.
Yeah,
Uh, they, I, c- they were. All I can say is they were in love with each other.
yeah,
There was no one in this world who knew what I was experiencing but Najee, and there was not.
yeah,
He was in love with his brother, and I can show you their music videos and how they made music videos, music together. They were in love with each other. They just were.
yeah, yeah,
So the life that I saw him lose, there was nothing that I could do to he couldn't. I would have my days, I would be,
yeah, 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 absolutely.
not no Najee. He just could not be brought back from the loss of Taj. No. Um, I, like I said, I was married at the time. I'm no longer with my partner.
You just
Um,
be throwing these people out. I'm just joking. I'm just joking. We'll talk about that later.
Girl, I wish it was the other way around. No, uh, you know, um, you know, I I was determined not to make the same mistake. I felt like, okay, I'm gonna save my baby. I did
Ooh,
everything.
I'm gonna tell you, it's something about us thinking that we have that type of power. To the parents that are listening,
Tell it
what
again.
we have to realize is
Tell
it's
them
their
again.
choice
It is
to
their
heal.
choice. But as it's a mind game. As a parent, you don't think that. As
Yeah,
a
we don't.
parent, you think that, like,
It's me.
right. You
Like
think that you could do
it's
something.
your mama. Like
Right. I brought
you
you
go
here.
listen to me.
Right.
They
No,
not.
no. And you think that you can get them the way that these drugs are set up, there is nothing in this world, nothing. Their self-respect, their dignity, their life that is
They will
more
pay it
important to
off.
them than the
They
pull of
will
this
pay it
drug.
off. Yeah.
And it is a hard, both of y'all are learning lessons. It is a hard lesson for a parent to understand that.
Mm.
I was determined not to lose him. So Nicole, I don't care where he was. I was tracking him. I would get up at 3 o'clock in the morning. Oh, he where? I'm going there. I was busting up in drug dealers' houses. I would, let me tell you, I I had my own weapon, and I remember a time I walked into it. He got into a car. I got into the car right behind him in the back of the drug dealer's car, and I pulled my weapon out. I was like, "Don't sell nothing else to my son. I will murder over mine. Your mind is gone. I
It's
just
gone
watched my son die.
because you lost a son,
Yes, and I
right?
was
The
not gonna
next
go through it
thing
again.
is that I have to save this son. I don't
Correct.
have nothing else. You
Right.
know, not that the other part is, and again, I feel like we're just gonna be talking for 3 hours, right? Like the other part is you also got two other children,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
And sometimes in our mind we mentally gone. Like in our mind,
Yes.
them two can take care of themselves. They got it. They done show themselves to be proof. But we chasing, willing to kill, meaning that I also will leave these two
That's right.
alone.
That's right.
But we don't even think about that because we got this one, and if I they gonna be fine if I could just get this one, and we will
Mhm.
sacrifice the two,
Yes.
not realizing it in the moment. Like as we're talking, I think we probably both can say, "Girl, you is right. That is the thing." But in the moment,
In the moment, I don't care.
I
That's my
didn't care.
baby.
Yeah,
I saw what happened. I'm not going to do this again. We got
yeah,
this. The torment that a parent or a family member goes through
yes,
on so
yes,
many levels,
yes.
it's just a lot. It's more than a lot.
So and this is not like, was recovery or him going into like a sober living home or anything, like was that like not on the table? Did he
No,
say like
we did
no?
everything.
Mm.
We did it all. My family owns a sober living corporation, so in the city. So they have several sober houses,
Yeah.
which is kind of, it's not, I don't even know what to call it. It's ironic.
Uh-huh.
Um, but my family owns a large mental health organization that offers substance abuse
Right.
recovery. We had them everywhere. I had them all over America going into programs. I had him. I've been everywhere. I've been everywhere with him. He overdosed more than 10 times. I've been at every hospital appointment. I've been at every. I've been back and forth with him to the methadone clinics. I've
Mm-hmm.
been with him in his counseling sessions. I went. I did everything. I went everywhere. I threatened people. I took things from him. I cut him off. I moved him in. I quit many jobs.
I'm gonna
I
tell you
gave.
what I hear though. I hear a lot of I. And so
Mhm.
I want to make sure you celebrate it for your effort, right? And I say that in a space where sometimes we think that we didn't do enough. Friend, you did it all that you could, right? Just a gentle reminder because we're gonna get to the healing. But you did all that you could,
Thank you.
right? And a gentle as I'm speaking to any parent who is dealing with any child with any addiction, because I need y'all to lean in a little bit. I need y'all to know that weed is also an addiction, right? Alcohol is also an addiction, right? Like I need you to get that these things, we're talking about pills, right? We're talking about pills that were laced. So I need you to get that yes, if you do the work, it's still a choice, right? Once they start, it's now a disease. And I don't think we give credit and space for that,
No,
right?
I'm
Because
glad you said that.
nobody in the whole wide world said, I'm gonna go take a drink and became an alcoholic.
Right.
Nobody in the whole wide world said, I'm gonna take one pill and I ain't gonna never ever want it again, right? It
Mhm.
becomes a disease because of what the drug does.
Right.
And so I want a gentle reminder to the parents who may have lost a child in that fight, right? A person who has lost a loved one in the fight. All of your work did not go unnoticed. I can bet you every dollar they remember your effort, but your effort wasn't bigger than their want, right? And their need, actually, because in that season, once it becomes a disease, they need it. It wasn't bigger. And so I want to make sure I say that to the people who are listening and to you who may sometimes wake up and say, what if I would have, right? I could have tried one more thing, right? And the energy had to be that they chose.
That's right.
The energy had to be that they wanted something else. And
Hmm.
they went and got, not with the intent of thinking that it would be lace, but didn't mind paying the cost that if it was.
Hmm.
And so I want to make sure 'cause you did a lot of things. You getting in the people car. I feel like you should do a movie. You getting in the people car with a gun to their head saying don't
uh,
is definitely the thing. So my mom used to make me go to murder scene.
mm,
So when my brother was alive, she would make me get in my car. She would see it on the news and make me get in the car to go see if it was him.
mm.
So I understand the effort. Now me, I was a sister, so my
As a
position was just
sibling, yes,
siblings. It's just different. It's a mom's love. I don't care what nobody say. A mother's love, baby, is unmatched, unmatched. And she wouldn't get up and go nowhere, but I had to go because that's what she needed, and that was my mom. So I can only imagine the effort and the length. Because my mom was younger, I feel like she would have had the same energy to do some of the same things. And I know there are people who are going to be listening to this who attempted. I need y'all to know that that's not the win. Grateful that your life is still here.
that's right.
Grateful that you are still here. Grateful that your children have a mom that is still here. But that's not what we don't want you to. She's sharing her story, y'all. That don't mean go do what she did,
Please don't.
because ultimately he still didn't choose it, right? Like he still didn't choose what was safer for him.
Right.
Um, but to
Correct.
get back into Najee's story, so
Yeah.
after you've done all of the things, we've tried the sobriety role, we've attempted the things.
Yeah.
Um, go.
Anything you can think of, I did and we did, and at this time, I have my family support. My family's pulling in all the resources that we can.
Yeah,
Um, he just he got worse. He got worse. He when I tell you, if anybody was like, no, I'll always be like, how he's so fine. And we used to say to each other, I'm fine. I'm like, yeah, you fine. He was a model. He was
wow.
very, very particular about how he looked, and he Najee just wasn't himself at all.
Yeah, yeah,
And he was still making music. He was still trying to honor his brother and making more music, and
yeah.
that in turn became everything he wanted to do and
Hmm.
nothing else. Um, I implemented some boundaries with him.
Hmm.
He was living with me, but it got to a point where I couldn't, because I feared that his little brother or sister were going to find him one day.
Yeah,
Um, and I couldn't put that on them.
yeah.
Um, so we eventually, he couldn't stay with me any longer. And this was after me moving him back in. I just wanted him to be close to me, but we couldn't do it. We couldn't maintain that. So
I'm proud of you for your boundaries. I'm proud of you for your boundaries.
thank you.
Yeah.
Um, so, you know, um, he was having some difficulty over that weekend before he passed away, with getting, it's a constantly getting back on your medications, and with substance abuse, with Western medicine, they always want to couple that with mental health
Mental health.
medications.
The only
Y-
thing. Hmm.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So he was cycling, and you know, I can say that I needed a break. It is a lot.
It
You
is
know,
draining. And that's okay to feel that. It's a
I know
moment telling a
now.
moment. Yeah.
I know now, but
The guilt that probably came with that, it was probably crazy. But
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Losing Taj, and then me being in recovery of grief, losing him while actively trying to keep my son from dying, and I became single again. My wife, we separated, with the divorce, and it was a lot for me. And over the weekend, I needed a day,
Yeah.
and I talked to him that Saturday. That Sunday, I didn't speak to him. On Monday, I was gonna go over and see him, and then I got a call saying that he was no longer with us and that he had passed away. My sisters called me to tell me, and they told me to go over um, to his apartment, but I couldn't. I was stuck. I
Yeah.
couldn't move.
I,
Um,
I won't tell you I can understand, but I can respect all of that, all of those pieces of not being able to move.
yeah,
Also, probably realizing that you can't break nothing else in this house because you just replaced it, right?
yes,
Um, as we get to talking about healing, and I'm gonna figure out a way for us to stop because I feel like you should come back next Sunday. Well, y'all don't know it's Sunday; it's gonna be Thursday. Mind y'all business. But to talk some more because I don't want to hold you past. Um, but I want to touch on how did you get to today, right? So 2021, May 21st, January 9th, 2024. I got that right, right?
right,
January 9th, 2024. And now we're here at July of 2025.
yes.
Um, what does healthy living look like for you today?
Healthy living for me today is having some strong boundaries.
Mm,
Having I have them around me constantly. I have a room where I go and where I pray and I meditate and I do my breath
mm,
work, and I'm surrounded by their energy.
mm-hmm,
That not a day goes by but that I can't skip breath work. I need it.
mm.
Um,
Knowing that you need it is the win, friend.
Yeah.
Mm, yeah.
I mean it. Another world has opened up to me since they passed away. Since Taj passed away, I am a different being. I'm a different person. I am experiencing life on a level that I'm it's just a different experience for me. Um, it has not been easy. I have lost a lot. Literally everybody who has been in my life, except my children, God has taken from me, except my two children. All my friends, all my associations, all my love relationships that I had, even the identity that I had that was associated with me being this director of nursing in nursing for 20, everything has been stripped from me.
Mm,
Um, I've been isolated um, during this time. It has not been easy. I have found my footing.
yeah.
I've invited, instead of fighting, losing who I was, and I fought
Yeah.
that for a number of years. Now I'm inviting this new person to come in and show
Mm,
me who I am now. I'm inviting God and I'm inviting Spirit to introduce me to these new experiences because obviously those old ones have passed away.
yeah.
So um it has not been easy, like I said. I've been working the ego and the ego death, who I was and what
Right.
I used to
Right.
do. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
not easy.
So, so, not as a closeout, but as a continuation. If you could introduce yourself, this is the new space, right? Nobody here probably knows you except for when I post and they say, I feel like I knew her,
All right.
right? Because there's something about knowing her versus I knew her, right? So as you enter this space, if you could reintroduce yourself, how would you do so?
I am becoming. I am perpetually becoming.
Mm,
I am no longer attached to I am no longer attached to the grief and the guilt that I felt from this whole experience. While I am not embracing that, this the colloquial that like, oh, and God, everything does happen for a reason. However, this relationship that I have with myself, this relationship that I have with my children on the spiritual side is something that I've never experienced ever. What I know that I am now here to do could only come about in this way.
mm,
And it's not, I am someone who is a lot more grounded. I'm someone who I'm so much more connected to, you see people so much differently once you've experienced something of this magnitude. You can't, you can't look at people the same way.
yeah.
I
Yeah.
believe that I'm also here to help relieve the scourge of people's perceptions about people who are experiencing addiction.
Mm,
They are not the scourge of the universe. They're not nasty.
yeah.
They are people. They're somebody's children. They had a story and they have one. They're experiencing the disease process,
Yeah.
and they are not so different from you or me. When I was going through the depths of what I was experiencing, I was this close to being in a place, not in addiction, but I was this close to being in a mental facility or
Yeah.
be
In a place of loss.
right.
Yeah.
People are
Yeah.
that close to making the decisions that change their life forever.
Forever.
And
Yes.
everybody will experience something in their life. And you may not choose to pick up a crack pipe. You may choose to something else, but you are faced with it.
Yeah, because
And
if you choose that bag of Doritos and you keep eating it and you don't put it down, and then you go get something else and then you put something else, that is also like that is
correct,
also a space of addiction if we don't pay attention. But
correct.
because it's not the hard thing, right? If you go having sex with that person and you can't stop having sex with the next person and the next person and the next person, no matter the cost, there's a space of addiction.
Yes,
And I don't want people to think that as we talk, because we're gonna keep talking, y'all, as we talk about addiction, that it is only connected to the drug.
yes.
So I appreciate you for sharing. I want to keep talking, I don't know what your time look like, and I
I'm
don't even
free.
know.
I'm
I don't know
free.
if I'm supposed to cut this and then we can start it. I'm gonna cut this one and we just start another one. I'll just
Okay.
keep listening. Yeah. So I'm gonna cut this. If you had to check in right now, 1 to 5, where would you be?
I'm at a 5 still.
I appreciate it. Thank y'all so much for listening and tuning in. As you know, our next episode will be again with Miss Calendar, Miss Govan, Miss Nakea, the people. And I'm excited. If you have any questions, if you want to ask, and I believe that we have a connection that we will continue this space, and she's open and free for those spaces. I want to thank our graphic designers, Cara Presley, Diamond Kemp. I want to thank our stage producers, Shay Hairston. I am so grateful for you guys. This will be up on Thursday, on Friday, wherever you fall. And then we will see you again next week. Peace.